These two agents have just been arrested. Hello, it's a pleasure to see you again. As usual, this is N.D.P News, a channel committed to providing impartial and up-to-date news from around the world. Our channel is the preferred choice for news because we not only aim to keep you informed, but also actively involve you in the field of geopolitics. So, if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to stay up-to-date with our future content. Breon Peace, the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York, expressed his objection to the establishment of a secret police station in their city, a sentiment likely shared by many Americans. This came in response to the recent arrest of two individuals who were allegedly agents for the Chinese government, accused of harassing and intimidating critics of the Chinese regime living in the United States. In addition, the U.S. Justice Department has charged 34 officers of China's National Police, all believed to be residing in China with related offenses. These revelations are likely to exacerbate the already tense relationship between the United States and China, and further deepen bipartisan suspicion towards Beijing in the U.S. Congress, with serious diplomatic consequences. The U.S. prosecutors allege that China has established an undeclared police station in New York City, which was used at least once to locate a Chinese-American pro-democracy activist living in California. The two individuals, Lu Zhangwang and Chen Jinping, both U.S. citizens, allegedly established the first known overseas police station in the United States on behalf of the Chinese Ministry of Public Security, according to the Justice Department. If the allegations against the two agents are proven to be true, this could signify the Chinese Communist Party's attempt to extend its crackdown on dissent and democracy beyond its borders, onto a nation that upholds and protects such freedoms. David Newman, the Principal Deputy Assistant Attorney General for the National Security Division of the Department of Justice, expressed concern that the Chinese government's efforts to export authoritarian methods to stifle free expression in the United States pose a threat to American democracy and will not be tolerated. China is not alone on this. China is not alone in its employment of extrajudicial measures for law enforcement or political persecution beyond its borders. Indeed, the United States government has also been known to involve itself in the affairs of other countries by supporting democracy activists in totalitarian regimes, which has been viewed as interference by repressive governments. It is important to note, however, that the primary mission of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, is to combat organized crime, terrorism, and drug trafficking, and to establish partnerships with local law enforcement agencies. It is not within the purview of the Bureau to surveil U.S. expatriates or to police their political activities. The Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, on the other hand, has been embroiled in a scandal involving the extraordinary rendition of terrorism suspects from Italy to Guantanamo Bay after the tragic events of 9/11. Meanwhile, Russia has faced accusations of deploying lethal chemical and radioactive substances on British soil, allegedly in an attempt to assassinate former spies. Despite these allegations, Russia has consistently denied any involvement. If you haven't already, please subscribe and give this video a like. Is the notion that Beijing is operating foreign police stations new? Last year, a report from Safeguard Defenders, a human rights group based in Madrid, has accused China of setting up more than 100 overseas police stations around the world to monitor, harass, and even repatriate Chinese citizens living in exile. The report reveals that China has established these stations in several countries in Europe and Africa through bilateral security agreements, which have allowed it to gain a widespread presence internationally. The release, dubbed Patrol and Persuade, focuses on the scale of the network and examines the role of joint policing initiatives between China and several European nations, including Italy, Croatia, Serbia, and Romania, which have piloted a wider expansion of Chinese overseas stations than was known until now. Safeguard Defenders has also identified 4 different police jurisdictions of China's Ministry of Public Security active across at least 53 countries, ostensibly to help expatriates from China with their needs abroad. The report has revealed that the Chinese government denies running undeclared police forces outside its territory, claiming that the facilities are administrative hubs set up to help Chinese expatriates with tasks like renewing their driver's licenses. However, Safeguard Defenders claims that these offices are part of an increasing crackdown on dissent everywhere in the world. The report claims that Chinese police stations are also involved in trying to convince Chinese citizens living abroad to return to China, even against their will. This effort involves intimidation and coercion, such as threatening their relatives back in China, luring and entrapment, and in some cases using undercover operatives in Chinese overseas police stations. China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has denied the allegations, calling them unacceptable, and accusing relevant parties of creating tensions by hyping up the claims. It claims that the overseas stations are staffed by volunteers. Safeguard Defenders claims that one police network it examined has hired 135 people for its first 21 stations. The report has prompted investigations in at least 13 different countries so far, and inflamed an increasingly heated diplomatic tussle between China and nations like Canada, home to a large Chinese diaspora. The report also sheds light on China's joint policing initiatives with Italy, Croatia, and Serbia, where Chinese officers have been seen on patrol with their counterparts in these countries. It also identified 11 Chinese police stations in Italy, including in Venice and Prato, near Florence. Croatia and Serbia also signed similar joint police patrol agreements with China between 2018 and 2019. Chinese officers were seen on a joint patrol with their Croatian counterparts on the streets of the capital Zagreb as recently as July of last year, and in Serbia they helped address the influx of Chinese tourists, although they didn't have the power to make arrests. Dangerous diplomatic fallout. The recent revelations by New York authorities have dealt a significant blow to China's already damaged reputation in Washington. This will undoubtedly complicate the Biden administration's efforts to de-escalate tensions with China's leader, Xi Jinping. The alleged Chinese police station scheme is viewed as yet another example of China's expanding global influence, perceived threat to American values, and its willingness to suppress political adversaries wherever they may be found. The fact that China would attempt to establish its own police station in a major American city like New York is being roundly criticized by American politicians, such as Democratic Representative Seth Moulton, a member of the House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party. The recent arrests contribute to the growing sense in Washington that China is engaging in increasingly provocative behavior and displaying a complete disregard for American sovereignty. This follows the highly publicized flight of a suspected Chinese spy balloon across North America earlier this year, which many Americans interpreted as a direct insult and an ominous sign of a potential new Cold War between the two superpowers. As tensions continue to rise, every escalation of the standoff between Beijing and Washington is taking a diplomatic toll. The level of animosity towards China is so intense on Capitol Hill that it's making it difficult for President Biden to manage this critical diplomatic relationship without adopting a more confrontational stance. This, in turn, is causing diplomatic and political aftershocks in Beijing, leading to more anti-US rhetoric and behavior. Disputing the notion that the US and China are heading towards a confrontation is increasingly viewed as heretical in Washington, and this dangerous new reality is narrowing the room for reasoned strategic thinking about the long-term implications of a potential showdown across the Pacific that could last for generations to come. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to check out our other videos on the channel for more great content. Please subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. Thanks for choosing N.D.P News. We'll see you in the next one.